Enlil was kind of the second of the big three in terms of Anu, Enlil, and Enki, and his number was 50. By the way, Anu's number was 60. If you didn't know that, then you haven't looked anything up. Yeah. So Enlil's symbol was the horned cap. His name meant Lord of Air, and Lord Lil Air. One tale gave him credit for creating people, although that was later kind of attributed to Enki, and then even in the Magan text of the Necronomicon, attributed to Marduk. And by the way, it's not just in the Necronomicon for all you guys saying, "Oh my God, it's fake," whatever. That was actually Babylonian tablets, which of course, when Babylon rose to power, Marduk rose to power and prominence. But we'll keep going. One story had Enlil rape his consort Enlil, and he got banished to the underworld, which basically symbolized the agricultural cycle. You know, a lot of times they used, humans have done this throughout millennia, using divine interactions and divine stories to explain natural phenomena. He eventually was succeeded by Marduk, basically due to the cultural change over time when Babylon rose to power and those that followed Enlil began to run out of power. Marduk kind of absorbed a lot of his qualities, which is where you get the 50 names of Marduk from, given that 50 was originally Enlil's number. So Enlil's temple, Apur, which literally translates to mountain house, was in Nippur. He was called the Great Mountain, the King of all the lands, the Father of the Black-Headed People, which was the name that the Sumerians basically gave themselves, was the Black-Headed People, and the Well-Respected. I really don't agree with the well-respected thing, but we'll probably get to that. Here's why. Because Enlil, given that he was a storm god, he was the god of the skies, where do storms come from? Duh. He generated the Great Flood, a drought, and a plague. He was married to Enlil and had kids, Ninurta, Ningirsu, Nana, Namtar, and others described as his children were Nergal, Ninazu, Inanna, Utu, and Iskor. Remember, these attributions kind of change over time as you explore the evolution of the belief system and who did what and who is attributed to what. So, he was also worshipped in Assur, Babylon at a time, Dur, Kurigalzu, and possibly Elam. Ceded rulership of Earth to Marduk when the precession of the equinoxes changed from, I believe, it's from Gemini, air, to Aries, fire. With the precession of the equinoxes, they move backwards, if you look into it. Which is why we're going from, Pisces into Aquarius, I think. Yeah. So Enlil was the mediator, and I mentioned this in my Anu video, between gods and man, and he was the one go-to guy to get to Anu. So he was basically Anu's secretary. Remember, you have Earth, you have air, then you have space. Anu's space, Enlil is air, and we're here on Earth. Get it? So in one tale, he's arrested for seducing Enlil, his consort. This is kind of, he was courting her, and he seduced her, he tricked her. And so then he's banished to the underworld. Enlil goes looking for him, and he disguises himself as somebody else. Why do they do this in a lot of myths? They disguise themselves, and it's just funny. But every time that Enlil went to him looking for information on where Enlil was, he would say, give me a little something, something, and I'll give you some information. And they got a little frisky. And every time they got frisky, Enlil had a kid. And that's where Enlil and Enlil bore several kids. And so, given these things, Enlil was praised for his virility, And, here's an interesting tale, right? The Atrahasis. Okay. So, at the beginning, when humans were made, there were 7 men and 7 women, right? And the gods got sick of human noise, again, and they have Enlil go to wipe them out. I think it was because Anu was basically pissed. But after a drought, flood, and pestilence, basically nothing works because Enki, who we'll talk about next, went behind the scenes and was helping them to survive. And so here's how Enlil found out. Atrahasis, which is basically Noah, is told by Enki of a giant flood coming, and tells him to make a boat and put animals on it. You guys know this story, right? And before he sets off, he makes a sweet-smelling sacrifice to the gods. Enlil smells this, and he's pissed, but he can't really do anything about it. He can't do anything to the boat because his powers are only with the flood, with the rains and the winds and stuff, but the boat was good enough to withstand all that. So Enlil's pissed. Enki's like, yo, dude, calm down. And he strikes a deal with Enlil to remake humans with shorter lifespans, and Enlil agrees. Now, this could be an explanation of why the King's List had people living for a super long time, and then here we are with, people living to only like 120 something, maximum. And that's if you are actually healthy and whatnot. So remember, a lot of these tales with gods and goddesses and mythology are meant to explain a lot of natural happenings such as giant floods, lifespan, agricultural cycles, weather, all that kind of stuff. So Enlil is a really interesting character. I think that he's later associated with the underworld, but I wasn't exactly able to confirm that. So let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure a couple of my buddies will be like, yeah, you forgot, blah. But I look forward to that. So questions, comments, complaints, concerns, issues, you can always email me at priestofthenecro@gmail.com. You can check out my other videos on general magic, Necronomicon studies, the theories of magic, and tulpomancy. I have playlists on all of those, as well as a playlist on my books, which are above my head. Magical Theater, Guide to the Spheres and Beyond, Magical Mechanics, and Handy Sigil Magic. You can find links to my Facebook page and my authors page in the description below, where you can explore what I'm doing on Facebook. You can check out all 4 of my books. I even have a playlist on my books if you guys want to check those out, because I got little trailers for them where I explain what each book is about. So give all those books a look. Subscribe